Today I want to speak with you about something very important. Many times in life we stop ourselves from doing things because we worry too much about what other people think of us. Maybe you wanted to speak English, but you stayed quiet. Maybe you wanted to wear something different, but you changed your clothes. Maybe you wanted to share your true ideas, but you kept them inside. All of this happens because we are afraid of other people's opinions. But I want to tell you a big truth. Most of the time, people are not even thinking about you. They are busy with their own lives, their own problems, and their own worries. When you always think about what others will say, it feels like you are living inside a small cage. This cage is not real, but it feels heavy. You carry it everywhere. You try to act perfect. You try not to make mistakes. But this way of living makes you tired and stops you from growing. Today, I want to show you how to break this cage and start living free. Free to speak. Free to make mistakes. Free to learn. Free to be yourself. Let me tell you a small story. When I was a student, I sometimes gave answers in class. But if my answer was wrong, other students laughed. Even if they only giggled a little, it stayed in my heart for a long time. After that, I became afraid to answer. I tried to speak perfectly or I stayed silent. That small moment taught me to be scared of people's judgment. And maybe you also had moments like this. Someone laughed at your English. Someone said your accent was strange. Someone told you that you made a mistake. Those words became like a shadow in your head. You started to filter every word before speaking. But the truth is, nobody cares as much as you think. Imagine you send a text message with a small typo. Does your friend stop reading the whole message? No, they still understand what you mean. In the same way, when you make a small mistake in English, people usually don't care. They still understand you. The mistake is small, but your fear makes it look big. I used to believe everyone was watching me when I spoke English. I thought they noticed every small pause, every wrong word, every mistake. But later, I understood something important. People are not thinking about me. They are thinking about themselves. They are worried about their own problems, their own mistakes, their own future. We think we are under a big spotlight, but in reality, each person is just adjusting their own light. You are not the main actor in their story. You are only a small passerby. Once you understand this, you feel free. You realize that you can speak and try without so much fear. Confidence does not come in one day. It grows slowly like a seed. And this seed grows best when the soil is freedom, not fear. Each time you speak, even if you make mistakes, the seed grows a little. Each time you ask a question, the seed grows more. But maybe you say, what if someone really says something bad to me? Yes, sometimes it happens. People may criticize. People may point out your accent. People may say your English is strange. I also experienced this. Someone once told me, "Your English is weird." That one sentence lived in my mind for years. I carried it like a heavy bag everywhere I went. But later I learned something important. When people judge you, it usually says more about them than about you. If someone laughs at your accent, maybe it is because they never had the courage to learn another language. If someone mocks your mistakes, maybe it is because they are insecure inside. Their words are not the truth. Your accent is not something to hide. Your accent is proof of your bravery. It shows that you are learning a whole new way to communicate. Each sound you make in English is a sign of progress. Be proud of it. If someone is bothered, it is their story, not yours. Another thing I learned is this. When you stop performing for others, you start growing for yourself. Many people waste energy trying to impress others. But real progress happens when you stop trying to look smart and you start asking questions. I remember one workshop I attended. Everyone was nodding like they understood. I felt lost, but I was too shy to ask. Finally, another person asked the question, and I realized many people were confused like me. At that moment, I understood something powerful. Confidence is not about knowing everything. It is about not being afraid to ask. So, my dear English learners, don't hide your questions. Even if your question is simple, ask it. Asking is braver than pretending to understand. Curiosity is a superpower. It is better to say, "What does this word mean?" than to stay silent and stay confused. Some people believe they must be perfect before they speak. But perfection is a lie. It is only an excuse to delay progress. Think about learning to swim. You don't learn by reading a book about water. You learn by jumping in the water, moving your arms, moving your legs, and maybe even swallowing some water. Yes, it is messy. Yes, you make mistakes, but only then you learn. The same is true with English. Waiting for perfection will never help you. Speaking with mistakes will help you improve faster. I used to wait until my grammar was perfect before speaking, but my grammar only improved after I started speaking. Mistakes were not the problem. Mistakes were the teachers. So do not aim to be flawless. Aim to be fearless. Start before you feel ready. Speak with a friend. Leave a voice note. Join a small group. Confidence is not a gift. It is not something some people are born with and some people are not. Confidence is like a muscle. You build it by using it. Every small action makes it stronger. Say hello to someone. Share a thought online. Record yourself speaking. Each of these is like lifting a weight in the gym. The more you do it, the stronger you become. And when your confidence starts to grow, replace fear with curiosity. Fear always asks, "What if I fail?" But curiosity asks, "What can I learn?" This small change makes a big difference. When I changed my thinking from fear to curiosity, everything started to feel lighter. Before, when I wanted to speak in English, I always thought, what if I make a mistake? What if people laugh? What if I sound silly? These questions made me nervous, and I stayed quiet. But then I began to ask different questions like, what can I discover if I speak? What new word can I learn? What new experience can I have? With this change, conversations became like small experiments. Instead of a test where I could fail, they became games where I could learn. This is the power of curiosity. It turns pressure into discovery. It changes the focus from yourself to the world around you. You stop thinking, how do I look? And you start thinking, what can I learn? That change is powerful because it removes the heavy weight of fear. When you are curious, even mistakes become interesting. A slip-up is no longer a disaster. It is just data. It is a lesson that teaches you something for the next time. Let me give you a small exercise. Next time you speak English, do not ask yourself after, "Did I make a mistake?" Instead, ask, "What surprised me in this conversation? What did I learn?" This is curiosity in action. And when you do this again and again, your brain starts to love learning instead of fearing mistakes. I remember once I was talking to a stranger in English. I mispronounced a word and I felt embarrassed. But instead of hiding, I smiled and asked them to repeat the correct pronunciation. Guess what? They smiled back and even taught me another phrase. That small moment became a gift. If I had stayed silent, I would have learned nothing. But because I was curious, I grew. Many learners believe that confident people are just born that way. They think some people have a special gift of confidence. But that is not true. Confidence is not magic. Confidence is practice. It is built step by step. Just like a muscle grows stronger in the gym, confidence grows stronger with every small action you take. I used to look at people who spoke English so smoothly, and I thought, wow, they are just naturally good. But later I learned they were not born confident. They simply practiced more. They showed up every day. They kept speaking, even when they were afraid. They built confidence by repetition. So don't wait for confidence to come to you. Create it. Every small action counts. Say one sentence out loud. Record yourself speaking. Comment on a video in English. Join a conversation online. Each small step is like lifting a small weight. It may not look big, but over time, your confidence grows stronger and stronger. And here is another truth. Confidence grows when you stop trying to be perfect. Perfection is not your friend. Perfection is a lie. It tells you to wait until you are ready, but that day never comes. Progress, not perfection, is what helps you grow. Progress is messy, full of mistakes, but also full of life. Think about babies learning to walk. They fall many times. But do they stop trying? No. They keep standing, keep falling, keep trying, until one day they walk. Nobody laughs at a baby for falling. Everyone claps and says, "Good job!" Keep going. Why? Because we know falling is part of learning. So, why are you so hard on yourself when you make mistakes in English? You are just learning. Falling is part of it. Mistakes are steps on the road to success. Another big lesson I learned is that confidence is not about always knowing the answer. Real confidence is about not being afraid of not knowing. Once I was in a class where the teacher explained something difficult. Everyone in the room was nodding like they understood, but I was lost. I wanted to ask, but I felt shy. I thought, if I ask, people will think I am stupid. Finally, someone else asked the question, and then half the class sighed in relief, because they were also confused. That moment taught me something huge. Asking questions is not weakness. Asking questions is strength. So English learners, remember this. Don't hide your questions. Even the most basic question can help you grow. It is better to ask, "What does this mean?" than to stay silent. Silence keeps you stuck. Curiosity moves you forward. Now let's talk about the invisible crowd. Many of us feel like there is a big audience watching us, ready to judge us. But in reality, this crowd is in your head. Most people are too busy thinking about themselves. They are not watching your every move. They are not counting your mistakes. They are worried about their own mistakes. Once you understand this, you can breathe easier. You realize you don't need to perform for others. You can live for yourself. I want to share another story. Once I spoke English in a group, and I used the wrong tense. I thought everyone noticed. I felt nervous and wanted to hide. But later, I realized nobody even remembered. They were focused on their own words. My mistake felt huge in my head, but for them, it was invisible. This is the truth. People do not notice as much as you think. So the next time you feel afraid, remind yourself of this. You are not under a spotlight. You are not the main actor in other people's stories. You are just a passerby. They are not judging you as much as you imagine. And even if they do, it is not your problem. Their opinion is theirs, not yours. Your energy is too valuable to waste on trying to impress others. Use that energy to grow yourself. Use it to practice. Use it to become better for you, not for them. And here is something powerful. When you stop caring so much about what people think, you start living with freedom. Freedom is better than perfection. Freedom allows you to try, to fail, to stand again, and to keep going. This freedom makes your learning faster and your life happier. So let's make a promise today. Let's promise not to live for the crowd. Let's promise to live for ourselves. Each step you take in English, each word you speak, each question you ask is a victory. Don't wait for the crowd to clap for you. Clap for yourself. I want you to imagine something with me. Imagine you are walking on a street. You are carrying a heavy backpack. Inside this backpack are all the opinions of other people. Every time someone laughed at you, it is inside. Every time someone criticized your English, it is inside. Every time you were afraid of making a mistake, it is inside. Now think about how heavy that backpack feels. You walk slower. You feel tired. You cannot enjoy the walk because the bag is too heavy. But here is the truth. This backpack is not real. You can put it down anytime. You are the one choosing to carry it. You can decide today to stop carrying other people's opinions. You can decide to walk free. When you drop that bag, you will feel light. You will feel strong. You will feel free. This is what happens when you stop caring too much about what people think. Your life becomes easier. Your English practice becomes smoother. Your mind becomes lighter. I remember once I was at a gathering where everyone was speaking English. I was shy and quiet at first. Then I told myself, what if I just try? What if I just say one sentence? I opened my mouth and I spoke. My grammar was not perfect. My pronunciation was not perfect. But people understood me. Some even smiled and answered me back. That moment felt like freedom. It felt like I had dropped the heavy bag. And here is something even more important. Every time you speak, you train your brain to be brave. If you stay silent, your brain learns fear. If you speak even with mistakes, your brain learns courage. It is like teaching yourself step by step. So, don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait until your English is perfect. The perfect moment will never come. The right time is now. Start small. Say hello to a stranger. Ask a simple question. Practice one sentence out loud. Each small step teaches your brain that it is safe to speak. Another thing that helps is changing how you see mistakes. Many people think mistakes are bad, but mistakes are teachers. Every mistake shows you where to grow. Without mistakes, you cannot improve. Think about when you learned to ride a bicycle. Did you fall? Yes, of course. Did you stop because of that? No, you kept trying. You learned balance. You learned control. And finally, you could ride without falling. English is the same. Mistakes are part of balance. They are not the end. They are the beginning. I want you to also remember this. Your accent is not a weakness. Your accent is a story. It shows where you come from. It shows your courage to learn another language. Many people in the world cannot speak even one extra language. But you are learning English. That is brave. Be proud of your accent. Don't hide it. Celebrate it. If someone makes fun of your accent, it says nothing about you. It says everything about them. Maybe they are insecure. Maybe they have never learned a new language. Maybe they feel small inside, so they try to make others feel small too. But you don't have to accept their story. You can choose your own story. And your story is this. I am learning. I am growing. I am strong. I also want you to think about how much time we waste trying to impress people who are not even looking at us. Sometimes we change the way we talk. Sometimes we hide our real thoughts. Sometimes we even stop ourselves from doing what we love. But most people are not paying attention to us. They are busy thinking about themselves. It is like being on a stage and thinking the whole audience is staring at you. But in reality, most of them are looking at their phones, or whispering to their friends, or thinking about dinner. They are not thinking about you. You are not under the spotlight you imagine. So stop living for the crowd. Live for yourself. Speak because you want to learn. Speak because you want to grow. Speak because your voice matters. I know it is not easy. I know fear feels real. But every time you choose courage, you become stronger. Every time you open your mouth, you train your brain. And slowly, step by step, you will notice something magical. You will not just speak better English. You will also live with more confidence in every part of life. One more thing I want you to remember. Confidence is not about being loud. Confidence is not about never making mistakes. Confidence is about being okay with being human. Humans are not perfect. Humans make mistakes. Humans learn by trying. So don't wait until you never make mistakes. That day will never come. Instead, choose to start today. Here is a simple action you can take. When you read something in English, do not just read it silently. Read it out loud. At first, you may feel shy, even if you are alone. But this trains your mouth. It trains your tongue. It trains your confidence. Then, record yourself reading. Listen to it. You will hear things you want to improve, but you will also hear progress. This is a small way to lift the confidence weight. Another action is to comment on videos in English. Even if you only write one sentence, you are practicing. You are training your brain to use English in real life. And remember, you do not need to be perfect. You just need to start. So today, my friend, I want you to ask yourself, what small, brave action can I take? Maybe it is saying hello. Maybe it is asking a question. Maybe it is reading out loud. Whatever it is, take that step. Every time you do, you are planting a seed of confidence. At first, the seed is small. You cannot see much. But with water and time, it grows. One day, you will look back and say, "Wow, I am more confident now than I ever thought possible." And it all starts with small steps, small brave moves, small decisions to care less about others and more about your own growth. So today, I invite you to drop the heavy bag. Walk lighter. Speak freer. Grow stronger. Let us go a little deeper now. Many times we stop ourselves not because other people said something, but because of the voice inside our own head. This voice says things like, "Don't speak. You will make a mistake." Or, "Don't ask that question. People will think you are stupid." Or, "Don't try. You are not ready." This voice is very loud. But here is something important to know. That voice is not the truth. That voice is fear. Fear tries to protect you, but in the wrong way. It tells you to stay quiet so you will not be laughed at. It tells you to hide so you will not be judged. But when you always listen to fear, you stop growing. You stay in the same place. Fear builds walls around you, but those walls are not real. They are only thoughts. So how do we break those walls? We break them by action. Every time you speak in English, you tell fear, "I will not let you control me." Every time you ask a question, you tell fear, "I choose courage." Every time you practice, you tell fear, "You are not my boss." And here is the secret. The more you act, the quieter fear becomes. The first time you speak, fear screams loudly. The second time, it is still loud, but a little less. The 10th time, fear is a small whisper. The 100th time, fear is almost gone. Fear cannot survive in front of action. I remember when I first started speaking English in public. My hands were shaking. My voice was weak. I wanted to run away. But I stayed and I spoke. My grammar was wrong. My pronunciation was not clear. But I finished my sentence. After that, something amazing happened. I felt proud. I felt stronger. Fear was still there, but smaller. And each time I spoke after that, fear lost more power. This is how growth works. You do not suddenly wake up brave. You become brave by practicing bravery one small step at a time. Now, let us talk about another important thing. Many learners believe they must hide their weaknesses. But I want to tell you that your weaknesses are not shameful. They are just areas for growth. When you accept your weaknesses, you stop fighting yourself. You start learning faster. Think about this. When you hide your mistakes, you cannot fix them. But when you face your mistakes, you can change them. For example, if you always use the wrong tense, but you never notice it, you will keep repeating it. But if you speak and someone corrects you, then you can learn. That correction is not shame. It is a gift. So instead of hiding your mistakes, welcome them. Mistakes are like a teacher standing beside you, guiding you. Another truth is that people respect courage more than perfection. When someone hears you trying, even with mistakes, they admire you. They think, wow, this person is brave enough to speak. They are not thinking, oh, that grammar was wrong. They are thinking, this person is learning, and that is amazing. So never be ashamed of trying. The only real shame is not trying at all. Now I want you to imagine two paths. The first path is the path of perfection. On this path you wait. You wait for the day you feel ready. You wait for the day your grammar is perfect. You wait for the day your accent is gone. But this day never comes. You walk and walk, but the road never ends. You are always waiting. The second path is the path of progress. On this path, you start walking even if you feel afraid. You make mistakes, but you learn from them. You ask questions, even simple ones. You speak, even with an accent. This path is not always easy, but every step takes you forward. You grow, you change, you improve. So which path will you choose? The path of waiting or the path of progress? I hope you choose progress. Another important lesson is about curiosity. When you are curious, fear has less power. Curiosity makes you ask, what can I discover? Instead of, what if I fail? For example, when you join a conversation, instead of thinking, they will judge me, you can think, let me see how people respond when you mispronounce a word. Instead of feeling embarrassed, you can think, oh, interesting. Now I know the right way. Curiosity turns mistakes into discoveries. It makes life a journey instead of a test. I remember one time I used the wrong word when speaking. Instead of being upset, I asked the other person to explain the right word. That small curiosity not only helped me learn a new word, but it also created a friendly moment between us. We laughed, and the conversation became easier. This is the magic of curiosity. It opens doors. It makes learning fun instead of scary. Now let me talk about energy. We all have limited energy each day. If you spend all your energy worrying about what people think, you will have no energy left to learn and grow. But if you use your energy for practice, for asking, for speaking, you will see big results. So think carefully. Where are you spending your energy? Are you wasting it on fear and other people's opinions? Or are you investing it in your own growth? Choose wisely. Another simple but powerful idea is this. Clap for yourself. Do not wait for others to say, good job. Do not wait for people to notice your progress. Notice it yourself. Celebrate small wins. If you spoke one new word today, clap for yourself. If you asked one question in English, clap for yourself. If you practiced for 5 minutes, clap for yourself. Clapping for yourself trains your brain to see progress. It reminds you that growth is happening, even if it is small. And small growth every day becomes big change over time. So my friend, the next time you feel afraid, remember, you are stronger than your fear. The crowd in your head is not real. Mistakes are not enemies, they are teachers. Curiosity is your superpower. And your accent is your story, your courage, your proof that you are learning. Take a deep breath. Drop the heavy bag. Choose progress. Speak today. Try today. Begin today. Because your voice matters.